AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
Eyes on the prize, baby, Papa. Prize Pit, run your game. There's only one King Kendrick because he was whooping ass last year, whooping Drake's ass specifically. But there's another King Kendrick who tried to mosey on down into the Knicks fandom. He has something to say about our Kings on the Knicks, man. About Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, and their roommates podcast. Let's see what you had.
He's not the only person that should be, taking a break from podcasting during the basketball season. I feel like Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart as well need to take a break, because if you're trying to go out there and honestly compete for an NBA championship, that should be your only goal. Anything else outside of that is a distraction, right? I wish I would have walked in the 2008 locker room talking about our podcast and through the season, or anybody else. It would have been smoke and furniture moving around it. So again, guys need to keep the main thing the main thing. And when you have an opportunity to win a championship, keep the main thing the main thing. Everything else could wait.
Wow.
Who was the first? Oh, no. Who was the first person to say guys should not have no podcast while they're in season playing the game? Listen, I salute Kendrick Perkins. Not because he's became, a Knicks fan, but he's telling the truth. He's 100% correct. What's the purpose of having a podcast during the season for, when the focus should be solely on the game of basketball and trying to win a championship? Podcast P, Draymond Green, Jalen Brunson, whoever should not be having a podcast. You should not be doing a podcast after a win or a loss. No, I totally agree with Kendrick Perkins. It is a distraction. And podcast P, Paul George, proves it. It's a total distraction. People are going to make it seem like it's not, or like it's not a problem, a la Gilbert Arenas. Big shout out to him. But it is a distraction. And Kendrick Perkins is correct. Imagine 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you doing a podcast after we done lost by 30. Or we got a tough game coming up. I totally agree, and I love that he said it. Because once again, what's important right now? Winning basketball game or doing your podcast? Because that time that you're doing the podcast, you could be in the gym. Or rehabbing, getting more healthier. So I totally agree. I don't like it. And I think, when you're at your job, do your job. And then once your job is over, now you do your podcast. Or, when the season, on the off season, you do your podcast and shoot a whole bunch of content, and then you put them out. But you should not be doing no podcast during the season. I totally agree with Kendrick Perkins, and I'm glad he said it.
Oh, I totally disagree with y'all. Even though this is like a Hollywood thing and it's part of the whole modern day era, I would think social media is just a distraction in general. Or it's the new media. I heard Stephen A. Smith, they get into the whole argument about the face of the league, and they were referring to the media and how social media is not real media. And it's like, you can't say that. Everybody got social media in the palm of their hand. Social media is media now. Point blank, period. And that's part of the attention now with the podcasting, where you go viral at any given second now. I mean, Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, they're doing a good job with their thing. I don't really care for it, to be honest with you. If they're going to stop for whatever reason, it's going to be because it's not great. You guys are great on the basketball court. You ain't great at podcasting. Let's keep it 1,000. It takes all ball to me. You know how I say it. Fleet, you guys are superstars. Dime, superstars at this thing. Let the stars be the stars. But they were podcasting last year. They didn't get in the way. It didn't stop them from getting on that court and performing when it was time to. This year, I didn't see that being a distraction either. And they were addressing, going 0 for 7, trying to be as intimate as possible. Jalen Brunson's going the Derek Jeter, Tom Brady route. He's not going to try to be controversial. Josh Hart seems to be more controversial on the court, but that seems to be their MO anyway. It's to try to avoid that type of rhetoric. And it takes a special kind of personality and a team. It seems like, let's say Jalen Brunson's team, Draymond Green's team, and their actual, managers and agents and stuff like that. They're really good at helping them out with this public relations thing. And on top of that, Draymond, for whatever reason, he got pulled over there in Golden State. We don't agree with him having that, but they got a real close knit thing going on over there where they can protect them. And we know the Knicks are going to protect Jalen Brunson. So Paul George's case, I think, is a different one. Bro, what the hell have you proven to be thinking you could get on that mic and talk anything? A lot of people like his podcast. I've never cared for it. And I think it looks crazy that you are a repetitive loser. And like you have we believe in your talent way more than you do. And that's the problem, that the Draymond Greens and the Jalen Brunson of the world, they believe in themselves that much that I don't mind y'all doing a podcast and attempting to do that when we see y'all confidence seep through the TV in other ways. Paul George confidence ain't never been like that, to be on a podcast and think you could distract the team if it is a distraction. I don't know. But I don't mind certain personalities doing their thing naturally.
Well, I mean, for me, it's not a big deal. I'm not going to I'm not. I don't like it, but I'm definitely not. I'm not going to be the old man on the stoop. I see the comments. It's just my opinion. I just don't like it. But it's not the end of the world. I understand. But I'm saying if you're going to do it, be good at it. People may think we trash, so I'm not saying we're better or worse than anybody. I'm just saying, if you guys, anybody, if especially players that's currently playing, if you're going to do it, be informative, break some things down, and be good at it. Don't just do it just to do it, because to be honest, it's just like you got, So for me, it's all good. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes complaining about their podcast. But I understand what Kendrick Perkins is saying, because he comes from that era. Like he said, I couldn't even imagine playing for the Celtics with Kevin Garnett and them guys. And let's say we just had a bad loss, and next thing you know, they see me on the podcast talking. So I get where he's coming from, and I totally agree. But it's a new day, it's the way of the world, and I understand. So it ain't no big deal as far as just being so upset at it. No, I just don't agree with it.
No, but again, that goes right into what I'm saying. If KG and him had a problem with that, and he knows he would have a problem with that, then he knows he has to deal with that. You can't do the podcast, bro. The team don't want that shit. You know what I'm saying? And to your point, how much of the game can you really break down? How much of the game should you really be breaking down if you want a podcast, bro? Keep that shit to yourself. I don't want you, Jalen Brunson. I don't want you spilling the beans about what your flaws are. No, don't tell nobody what you're scared of. None of that. Don't be too intimate. I want you to be Derek Jeter style as long as possible, man. Don't go crazy. Don't give in to the worldly shenanigans. You keep being, because he's come so far. His father, that whole family, with how they took over the damn Knicks organization, we ain't never expect that. So to see him do all this and take over the New York City piece by piece, it's dope. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.